Is self-love one of those topics that you hear and you read about, but when it comes to actually practicing it, you're not quite sure where to start? Or maybe self-love is something that you really dig, but it just so happens to always be one of those things that gets left to the last minute and you have to rush, or you pencil it in your diary and it never happens, and you find yourself always being the last item on your priority list. If this sounds like you in any way, then do not worry, because today I'm walking you through a very powerful Louise Hay mirror work exercise, and I'll be using her wonderful book called Mirror Work as a guide to explain how this works and how it all comes together when you want to master the concept of self-love and really implement it into your life. If you are new to this channel, then a very big warm welcome to you. My name is Holly, and this is the fourth video in my manifestation series where I'm using mirror work as a main tool to demonstrate how powerful you really can be when it comes to manifesting. And it can be a process that's easy and enjoyable and all part of your personal development and spiritual growth. If you've been following me all along, then of course, welcome back to you. So far, we've covered fear, anger, and how to release your past in order to manifest better, more fuller manifestations and experiences. If you have just joined in on this manifestation series and you do want to go right back to the beginning, you will find all of the videos in the playlist link that I've left in the description box below, and I've also pinned at the top of the comments, so you can work through at your own pace. And if you are doing this mirror work with me and you have been with me from day one, then of course feel free to revisit any videos that you think have been of extra benefit or you'd like to cover more ground on and do some more healing work with. Today's video, as I've already mentioned, is all about learning to love yourself. Learning to love yourself in a way that is not egotistical, not arrogant or narcissistic, but simply in a way that expresses to yourself and to the rest of the world that you are worthy, you are good enough, and to truly feel that for yourself on a deep cellular level, where it's not just lip service, it's not just a front that you're showing to the rest of the world like a mask, that you don't really truly feel that you belong in, or you know, it feels foreign to you, and deep down those insecurities and those fears are still there. Today, this exercise is going to help you to overcome all of that and to really shine a torch and a light on those shadow parts of you that have been with you for the longest of times. And learning to love yourself is the only way to overcome them. The reason I initially started with the more heavier topics like fear and anger and releasing your past is because when we learn to love ourselves, there is all this stuff that immediately comes up and says, but what about that? And what about this? And it is so important that all of those things are addressed. So I wanted to start with those things because sometimes it's easier to focus on the external crap that's going on around us that is triggering us and preventing us, if you like, from feeling like we can have a relationship or even have the time to learn to love ourselves. So by starting with the more hardcore topics, it kind of lays the foundations, if you like, or it clears the way for us to be able to start this exercise today with a cleaner slate and a lighter heart, where there's not so much emotional or energetic baggage or just debris, if you like. So I hope that makes sense. And as I mentioned, if this is your first time here, then a big warm welcome. You can always go back and revisit those videos via the playlist link below at any time you want. And just be intuitive with this entire process. Even though I'm releasing these videos in the order that I am, because I've done mirror work for many years, and I'm trying to do it in a way that I feel is going to be most beneficial to people who are new to mirror work. At the same time, this is your journey, it's very personal, so please listen to what you feel is right for you based on where you are right now. And the fact that you have just found this video, if you're new to this series, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. This is divine timing, and you found this video at the perfect time for you when you need it the most. One thing I will say about mirror work that comes up time and time again, even with me, despite the fact that I've been practicing it for years, is that when you look in the mirror, depending on what kind of day you've had, there's going to be moments where you are thinking to yourself, oh, I'm not doing this right, and this feels really wrong, and it will feel like lip service. You'll feel and find that those angers, or you'll find that there is emotional stuff that comes up, frustration, feelings of overwhelm. For example, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So when I'm using this book and I'm reciting specific affirmations and I can't perhaps get the words right, or I don't remember them in the right order and things like that, it's easy to get hung up on, am I doing this right? Or even by looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, look, there's a spot, or my hair looks a mess today, or gosh, look at the bags under my eyes. It's very easy to get distracted by our physical appearance too, of course, because we're looking in the mirror. But that is why this work is so powerful. And particularly with today's exercise that I'm going to get straight into in a minute. I don't want to talk too long on this video today because it is all about you getting into the exercise with your mirror and experiencing this stuff for yourself firsthand. But it is, when you're looking in the mirror, it's about accepting yourself for where you are right now in this very moment. And that is why Louise Hay is a genius, with having coached and heavily taught and practiced this particular approach to spiritual growth when it comes to affirmations, because there's nowhere to hide. When I'm looking in this mirror right now, there is nowhere for me to hide. And that is what it's all about. It's about looking into your own eyes and saying, okay, yeah, my hair looks shit today, my skin looks sallow, I'm not happy with the shape of my eyebrows, all that kind of material, superficial stuff. But at the same time, it's looking past that, it's looking beyond that. And when we learn how to do that with manifesting, when we learn how to look past the surface value stuff and we connect with the true meaning of why stuff is happening, how it's unfolding, how we've attracted that into our lives, what we're currently accepting that we don't want to be accepting in our lives, situations that we find ourselves in that do trigger our insecurities and our fears. By looking past all that stuff and understanding the emotions that we're experiencing and working with those and giving ourselves that reassurance to say, you know what, I love you regardless. That is so powerful, and it blasts open the doors to that journey of self-love that will very quickly gain momentum when you are able to push all the noise to one side and say, you know what, here I am showing up, I'm doing the work, and I'm coming at it from a place of total and pure acceptance. That is a game changer. And you will find that when you really lean into your mirror work, emotions and all of it, no matter what it is that comes up for you, no matter what distractions you are able to and you're strong enough to ignore for just those few minutes, your life will begin to mirror that back to you very quickly. And you will start to see and feel that true fulfillment in the experiences that you are attracting towards you, because it becomes your point of attraction. I hope that makes sense. And in terms of relationships as well, Of course, the people around us are the biggest triggers of all. They know how to push our buttons. Those that we're closest to, our parents, our partners, our children, our relatives, friends, and so on, colleagues, bosses, the list goes on. They're able to trigger us and really hit us in ways that bring us to our knees emotionally, and make us feel so vulnerable and make us feel like we can't be open and we can't be receptive. We have to have our guard up, we have to show strength. But when you are able to come to your mirror and express that vulnerability and give yourself the permission to feel all that, not crap, but all of those emotions that we try to kind of stuff down on a daily basis, what that's doing is that is enabling you to meet yourself at a level that you never have before. And when you can do that and still love yourself regardless, you are then able to create relationships in your life that are based on a real, true meaning. We can only meet others at the same level that we've met ourselves, and of course have that reciprocated back to us as well. People who truly see and hear us and who respect and value who we are as we are right now in this moment. We don't feel like we then have to jump through hoops and people please and pull out all the stops to impress someone, because we're comfortable in our own skin as we are, and we have a mindset of take it or leave it. That's where true confidence comes from. That is where true self-love comes from. And people who like to say, oh, self-love is narcissistic, or it's all a load of woo-woo nonsense, what you'll often find is that with people who are arrogant and who do have that kind of bullshit exterior, they're the most insecure people of all, because they feel the need to make lots of noise, because deep down all they want is to be heard too. But it's the ones who are silent, and it's the ones who are sitting there and who energetically exude that confidence. They're the ones who have the true power and the strength and the influence. And so today, especially with the topic and the exercise that I am going to be doing with you, it's a very deep one, and it's one that is going to blast open some doors for you. And I want you to embrace it wholeheartedly, without judgment. And I want you to give yourself that permission before we start in just a moment to come home to yourself and to appreciate all of it, no matter what you experience today, no matter how frustrated you might get, no matter how it may not feel quite natural to you initially. It doesn't matter, even if there's tears. It's all good. It's all part of the process. Louise Hay says, I believe that each of us has a power within us, a higher self connected to the universal power that loves and sustains us and brings us prosperity of every kind. You will see that you have within you all that you need to grow and change. So all you're going to need for this exercise is a mirror. If you want to have a notebook beside you, a journal perhaps, and a pen to jot down any emotions that come up, that's also something that you can do too. Again, just go with what comes naturally, any ideas that pop into your head. Take your time, pause the video, and then when you're ready, grab your mirror. And with me, I would like you to spend a moment or two just looking into your own eyes. Take some deep breaths. If you're feeling a bit nervous or silly, that's okay, that's fine. If you feel like laughing, do it, because we want this to be fun. And then you say to yourself out loud, I want to like you. I want to really learn to love you. Let's go for it and have some fun. I want to like you. I want to really learn to love you. Let's go for it and really have some fun. Take another deep breath and say, I'm learning to really like you. I'm learning to really love you. I'm going to repeat that again. I'm learning to really like you. I'm learning to really love you. When you're saying these words, just really listen to how your emotions respond to that. How does it make you feel to hear yourself and see yourself saying that to your own reflection? Because that is the power of this work. It's not just lip service where you do the exercise and that's it, job done. This is a very personal experience and exercise that is intimate. So take it seriously and acknowledge whatever comes up for you. And spend some time with it, honour it. Put your hand perhaps on your belly, on your heart, if that helps. And just give yourself those few moments to honour however those words make you feel. Keep taking deep breaths and then continuing to look into your eyes. Say, I'm willing to learn to love you. And this time use your name. In my case, I am willing to learn to love you, Holly. I am willing to learn to love you. And again, say that a few times and listen and feel into what comes up for you. As short and sweet as that is the exercise for today. And I would like you to, as it says in the book, to every time you see a mirror or see your reflection, every opportunity, carry a pocket mirror around with you. And as much as possible, say to yourself, I'm willing to learn to love you. Any one of those affirmations that I've read out from Louise Hay's Mirror Workbook in this particular exercise, pluck out one or two of them and make it your own. As long as it's centered around the concept of starting to love yourself, for me it's I'm willing to learn to love you. I'm willing to learn to love you. Because having that willingness is all that's needed. Repeat that particular affirmation, whichever one you choose and you want to run with. It could be, I like you. That might just be where you are right now. It's not love for you. It's just a case of liking and being willing to like yourself. Go with it. Say it as often as you possibly can as you're passing windows and you can see your reflection. Use it as much as possible and keep saying it over and over. And I would encourage you to journal on this topic and write down the affirmation, I am willing to learn to love myself, or I'm willing to learn to like myself, and write down everything that comes up. Feel into it. Again, using your mirror, look into your own eyes. Have that open conversation like you're talking to another person and say, if you are feeling a hell of a lot of resistance, address it and just have that conversation, because you'll be amazed. As crazy as it might feel and as crazy as it might sound to other people, if you have told anyone, I recommend you don't, because there will come a lot of judgment with that sort of stuff, unless it's someone who obviously has done this work themselves or is practicing it with you. Don't put yourself in that position. Obviously, when you are doing the work, make sure that it is somewhere where you feel safe and it's private and you don't feel like you're going to be overheard or anything like that, because the last thing you want is other people to judge you. But one thing I will say is that this is a big part of the self-love journey, in really scratching the surface and just keeping it simple by saying, I'm really willing to learn to love you. I'm really willing to learn to love you. By saying that in the mirror, it's this, if anything, is going to be one of the most powerful videos and the most magical videos in the manifestation series. And simply because when we build and create an environment within us that says, I'm willing to learn to love myself, or I'm willing to love myself, or I do love myself, I'm now starting to love myself and fall in love with myself, you will begin to see how your entire perception of the world around you shifts, and the role that you play in it. Things that you have been accepting for many years, perhaps, that aren't bringing you happiness or joy. Perhaps financial gain, if you're in a job that doesn't pay very well, and you're always, going above and beyond to please your boss and your colleagues. A relationship where, you're with someone who doesn't appreciate or value you. Parents who are constantly criticizing you for the smallest of things. It could be a million different scenarios. But you'll start to see them for what they are. And that filter that you're putting in now by doing this work that says, I'm willing to learn to love myself or like myself, you will raise the bar very quickly, because it will become a case of, well, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. And your manifestations, if you have experienced a lot of manifestations that have been going really well, and you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. For example, I went on a date with that guy that I really liked. I manifested that. And then he never called again. Or we got together and he turned out to be, really mean and wasn't very nice to me. He wasn't the man that I thought he was. Or let's say, you went for a job interview that you were psyched about and it went really well, and then you never got the job and you were totally gobsmacked because you just thought, oh my God, I was in alignment and everything was unfolding perfectly. And then boom. If you've had those kind of manifestations where they don't unfold in the fullest way that you want them to, and you're left disappointed and empty-handed, this learning to love yourself is going to change all of that, because it starts with you. This work, this foundational stuff, these beliefs all start with you and the relationship that you have with yourself. And a metaphor that I love to use, and I'll tell you a quick story actually, about me and my friend years and years ago, and she watches some of my videos, so if she's watching this, she'll know exactly the moment that I'm talking about, when we were in a park together. And she lives in London, so I don't see her that often, but her name is Grace and I love her to bits. We hardly ever see each other, but yeah, we were together in a park, and I was looking at these trees, and I was thinking, wow, these trees are so amazing. And I said to her, oh, I wish I could be more like a tree. And she went, oh God, I've heard it all now. And I laughed, because it obviously sounded totally kooky and just crazy. But what I meant by that was, you look at trees that are, some of them are 500 years old. They're big, huge oak trees, and of course they're silent. Trees don't move, they don't speak, but they're so powerful. If you were to get into a car, and not you personally, but if someone was to jump in a car and drive at that tree 100 miles an hour and try and damage it, they would die. They'd be the ones who would be dead. And that car would be a write-off, because trees are so powerful. But the only reason that they're so powerful is because their roots go so deep into the ground and then they expand. And when it comes to manifesting, that is how we need to see ourselves. And this work that we're doing, this mirror work, learning to love ourselves, is about planting those roots and making sure that they are stable and they are secure and they are strong, so that no matter what comes at us in life, no matter what hits us out of the blue, we can deal with it, we can handle it, and we're not shaken by it. We're able to stand in that strength and in that sense of safety and security that says, this is who I am, like it or lump it. And again, likening this to a tree, trees are silent. They're silent. They don't make any noise. Okay, when it's windy, they might, you'll hear the rustle of the leaves. But other than that, they're just so majestic and strong and sturdy. And they don't make a fool of themselves. They don't, make a big song and dance. They just are. They give us life. They give us so much. So that's what I really would like you to take away with you today. having done this exercise and committing to practicing this work as much as you can on a daily basis for the rest of your life, you know, potentially, even if you're not going to watch another video in this series, then that's fine. But keep this with you and use it as much as you can. And I promise you that if you don't do anything else in regards to mirror work ever again, just this one affirmation of saying to yourself, I'm willing to learn to like you. I'm willing to learn to love you. That is all you need, because it will set everything else in motion for those external manifestations that will shift your point of attraction, and just they will level up to where you are at that point of, I'm willing to learn to love myself, and I'm not accepting anything less that doesn't reflect that back to me. I hope that has helped you. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Please feel free to comment below on any of the topics that I've covered today, what your own experiences have been, what you're struggling with, any breakthroughs. I always love to hear from you, and the conversations that we can generate together on this channel are so inspiring, and they really do help other people as well who are on the fence about doing this work themselves. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like to learn more about mirror work, then I do recommend this book. It covers 21 days of different topics where you can do exercises similar to the one that I've just demonstrated to you. And it includes heart thoughts for the day, journaling exercises for the evening, and meditations also, because you get a special code inside the book that you can then access online, and you can listen to the meditations as well, along with the exercises and all the other questions that you're doing that this book provides you with. You can get it for as little as $9.99 on Amazon. I've left an affiliate link below in the description box, so feel free to go and check that out. Affiliate means that I would receive a small commission if you do decide to purchase this book, but you don't have to. You can follow my manifestation series via the playlist link that I've left again down in the description box below. And if you are new to mirror work, it will give you all of what you need to begin manifesting better experiences and a more rewarding life and enriching, empowering life for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that I have got planned to be published in the coming weeks and months. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, lots of love, take care, and I will see you in the next video.